Ladies and gentlemen, this bout scheduled for 10 3-minute rounds in the lightweight division. This bout is brought to you by Mark Nielsen of Nielsen Boxing in association with John Trethui of TM14 Promotions and their proud sponsors, Allegra and Nutravita. This bout is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Your area representative, Des Reese. Your timekeeper at the bell, John Smith. And the third man in charge of the action in the ring, A-star referee, Mark Bates. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner. He is wearing the green, white with gold trim. His official weight of 9 stones, 9 pounds and 1 ounce. He has a record of 10 fights, 3 losses, 1 draw, 6 wins, and 1 of those wins come in by way of knockout. Hailing from Southend, Essex, England, United Kingdom, introducing Marley Mason. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He is wearing the white with black trim. His official weight of 9 stones, 11 pounds and 7 ounces. He is currently undefeated with 7 wins, and 4 of those wins come in by way of knockout. Hailing from Clacton, Essex, England, United Kingdom, introducing Arnie, the Terminator Dawson.
Take a break, take a step back immediately. Keep your punches up, obey my command to protect yourselves at all times.
Packed out your call. We've had some fantastic fights this evening. Could this one steal the show? 10 3-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Arnie Dawson takes on Marley Mason. Don't blink.
Seconds out, round 1.
The lightweight Terminator. I love these names that the fighters have come up with. They're promising a lot, and so far they're delivering tonight.
Yep, they certainly are delivering, and I tell you what, Arnie Dawson, we've had him on a couple of shows. We had him on 2 shows, UK versus USA, a format that myself and Roy Jones were doing, and we took him over to Texas, and he knocked his opponent out. And in April at Stamford Bridge, we had the return leg, and he had one of the most chilling knockouts I think I've seen against Roberto Castro. In the 3rd round, he hit him with a shot, and you remember when Roberto Duran got knocked out by Thomas Hearns? Round 2, boom, the way he fell forward, Roberto. It was similar to that. It was something spectacular. He's got long levers, heavy hands, and this one could be a cracking fight.
When you've followed this game of boxing long enough, you'll know when a fighter falls forward, it absolutely means he's been terminated.
Yep.
That's the end of the show. No need to count. And for a lightweight to have that kind of knockout power and call himself the Terminator, you've got a long and bright future ahead of you if you can hold to that moniker.
Certainly has, and Priya, he's got a tough guy in front of him here in Marley Mason. Yes, he's lost 3 out of his 10, had 1 draw. But he brings it, he's tough. You know, he boxed on that same card actually at Stamford Bridge, and he boxed one of Roy's good fighters. He's the IBO champion, I think, of the world, in Mandeep Jenga, and he pushed him to a 96-94 decision. But he's tough as old boots, he keeps coming, he's got that experience. So on paper, again, another 50-50.
Definitely is, and you know, we know Marley Mason to be a gritty, durable fighter. He'll keep coming forward. He's not going to make this easy for Dawson at all. You know, this is his 2nd 10-round contest, but he's never actually gone the distance. I think the longest fight he's had is 6 rounds, so it will be interesting to see if Marley's able to push him to 10 rounds and how Dawson actually copes with that.
Well, quite an even first round here, Radio.
6-3, it is a pivotal moment, again, in the trajectory of your career. You haven't lost so many fights that everybody's writing you off, but it is determining factors now on whether or not you're on your way to going back to the A side or being an opponent for the rest of your career. beating someone you're not supposed to beat, like a 7-0 fighter, can put you back on the right track. That's what Marley Mason is looking to accomplish tonight.
Absolutely, it's all about opportunity and taking those opportunities, and he's never been scared of taking them, Marley Mason, and that's what I like about this kid. You know, what you see is what you get. He brings it, he puts it on the line, and he delivers. Hence why we've got a packed house here still at the end of the evening to watch this one. Interesting first round, not a lot to split between the two. They were having a little feel out there. You know, I think that maybe Arnie Dawson with, you know, the longer shots and a couple of clubbing right hands that he landed done enough to win the round, but Marley Mason, he held his own there. You know, I think that would be a very positive start for him.
It would be, you know, like you said, he held his own, and he is looking to provide a test for Dawson, you know, and like Radio said, this is pivotal for his career, and we've talked about reaching a tipping point in a career before earlier on in the night, and maybe this is Mason's.
I like what I saw from Marley. He took what Dawson was giving him and made something out of it. There's a little bit of pressure there. Dawson seemed to be comfortable working behind the jab, kind of settling in. And Mason, for his own sake,
Corners,
looking to dictate the fight
10
himself.
seconds.
So now in the second round, we'll see who wins out, and that who's going to dictate the pace and the
Seconds out,
distance of this fight.
round 2.
Yep, well, expect a few more twists and turns for sure, because we know Marley Mason is a kid that will bring it, and if he sees that opportunity, he'll take it. But Arnie Dawson has shown us that he's very capable of taking an opponent out at any given opportunity.
I like the kind of foot adjustments of Arnie Dawson. He does step back in a straight line, but he doesn't do that more than a couple of steps before he uses his angle to get himself out of trouble and not being backed up onto the ropes, because you do not want to be in that position in front of someone like Marley Mason.
Yep, he's very educated for sure. The boxing IQ is good, but he uses the space so well. Those little shuffles in and out of range, his shuffle in range to get off of his shots. He doesn't sit there too long. He's not too greedy and just shuffles back out again. It's a smart move because he reserves a lot of energy in doing that.
I noticed with Arnie Dawson that when he throws a power punch, he likes to stomp forward. That's a bit of a telegraph. It's the kind of thing that a more seasoned fighter will be able to pick up on early and catch you in between punches and give you a lot of trouble.
Yep, I totally agree with that. You know, I think that at this stage it's very much the apprenticeship. You're learning. Both guys are putting it on the line here. Mason has done that before. He's not scared to lose his O. Arnie Dawson still has that O and he wants to keep it. But this is definitely another step up the ladder here for Dawson. And there's a dangerous shot there from Mason. That was nice. I like the way he looped that over.
I'd like to see the Terminator turning over a bit more of those shots. His power shot from the right hand, if he were to sit down on the punch, turn it over and bring it, because he's the taller fighter, so punch it a bit down on Mason and get more leverage on the punch instead of stomping forward and trying to traject and get the power from that. Get the power from your leverage. You're the taller fighter, fight tall.
Priya, I think the interesting thing here is how long can Arnie Dawson control this space, keep it at range, because Marley Mason has that experience. He will push on, and there will be a time when he gets in the pocket and he can get off his shots. The early rounds should be in favour of Dawson because of his attributes, the long reach, the height, the way he utilises the space, but it's going to be interesting to see how this one unfolds as the rounds go on.
Yeah, definitely, and like I said before, you know, Arnie Dawson's not actually gone more further than 6 rounds because he's been able to stop his opponents, but this is technically his second 10-round contest, so he's obviously trained up for it, but you know, it would be interesting to see how he does in the latter rounds of the contest.
Yeah, there, right on cue, he did throw 2 right hands where he was sitting down on the shot and using his leverage. There you see something going to the body with that same kind of motion. It will be successful for him. Now he's got to be defensively responsible so he doesn't take a shot in the chops for his trouble.
I tell you what, this is good tactics here from Mason, who is crouching very, very low, and then he's throwing the shots. He's gone back to the corner. He's very happy with himself, standing on his feet, and that was another close round there. Mason might have done enough just to nick that with those looping right hands. He was getting through with some nice shots, and maybe felt that he would have been pleased with that for sure, but it was coming out of that crouch style, coming from down low and springing up, looping the right hands over. That's going to be a problem for Dawson as the rounds tick on and Dawson's hands start to drop just a little bit, he's going to have to be careful that he's not sitting on the line, sitting in the pocket and gets caught on him, because what we know about Mason is he's proven he can do the rounds, he can do the distance, we know his character, he can weather the storm, all of that. We're unsure of that with young Arnie Dawson.
Second.
Exactly, you know, he's still young in his career, you know, still at early doors in his career, and
Seconds
where
out
Mike
to
Mason
round
sits down on
3.
his shots, you just generate so much more power when you lower your center of gravity.
Also, the Terminator is forcing him to fight small because he's fighting tall. That's what you have to do. And it does, the advantage for me goes to the taller fighter, especially if he's working well behind the jab. But Mason creating offense by being busy when he gets inside.
See, now I was the shorter fighter and I found that an advantage. I like boxing tall guys because you can come from down low like he's doing here, and he's getting success here, Mason, because what he's doing is he's using his lack of height to his advantage because he's going smaller, which means the Terminator has to punch down, and when he's punching down, he's leaving the gaps, he's leaving the openings, and you can get punched. So it's all about timing for Mason. If he can time it right, when the Terminator punches, he loops the shot over, the target's there.
Long enough, though, for Arnie, isn't it, that the jab can keep the smaller fighter out, keep him at bay?
1,000,000%, but what I'm saying is it's about, they both got the game plan. Mason obviously to come low, and obviously for Dawson to keep it long here and work on the inside when he gets there. Who can capitalise on that best? Right,
True
they both, what I'm saying is they both come with a brilliant game plan. Now who can use it to their advantage, because the game plan is right from both sides.
And you're so right, Spence. If also on the inside, Dawson doesn't have the ability to punch short shots and can only fight long, then Mason will take the advantage every time.
Yep, this is good work there from Dawson. No, solid shots, he's starting to sit down on them, and Mason has to be careful. He doesn't try and get too greedy himself.
Mason did start the round off by targeting the body with the jab, and you know, probably with the hope of trying to slow Dawson down, but Dawson found his range again from behind his jab, and you know, he's being a bit more successful with it now. But
yep, Dawson is very, very strong, uses those levers to his advantage, whips the shots in, but he's got a good shot selection as well. That was a big right hand, that just momentarily stunned Mason there. You saw him.
Mason looking to do exactly what you described, Spence. He's looking to be inside, and with that jab landing from Dawson, that's the problem. If he has to get around it to get inside, then he's got to get around it to get inside.
I tell you what he's got to do. He's got to go low, and he's got to punch when Dawson's punching. So when he sees the movement from Dawson, he thinks he's going to deliver the jab, loop the right hand and beat him to the shot. That's the way that you do it. His timing has to be impeccable to get away with that. Good fighters can do it, and if you do that, you've got the game plan. Trust me, being a shorter fighter, that was what I had to use, that sort of armory to get round these sort of, you know, attributes that the other fighters have.
It's got to be incredibly difficult and frustrating for the taller fighter when it works. I mean, it drives me crazy, a smaller guy hitting me up top when it's shots I don't see coming.
Mate, I've hit some tall guys before, and they've been like swaying like a willow tree in the wind, my friend. It works, trust me, it works.
That is the appropriate music for you there, Spence. You're bad.
Yeah, I'm bad, but you're the dancer, my friend. Let's not forget Ghana. And when these tunes come on, just so that you guys that are watching us at home now, I'll give you a little bit of Radio Raheem. He's got some moves, this boy, that is for sure. And I'm amazed you haven't got out of your seat and dropped a little, a little Michael Jackson move. There you go.
I don't want to show these fighters up. It's their moment. You know, I don't want to grab the spotlight away from them too early. But rest assured, if you're in the crowd tonight, when the final bell rings, I'm here for the last dance.
What do you reckon, Priya? Are we going to see him dance or what?
I hope so.
There you go.
They
Round
brought me
4.
cookies, biscuits, and digestives. I'll dance for my dinner.
I think you got more chance to see, as much chance of seeing him dance as him opening up them chocolate hobnobs, which I've been staring at all night, and he wants to keep them for his coffee when he gets home. Good right hand there from Marley Mason. He needed that. Dawson took control again in that last round. I like the work that he was doing, chopping right hands, and you know, he was setting a few traps. Mason was a little bit slow getting off with his hands, and maybe feels that he's got to try and take it back to Dawson. Evenly matched contest, this one. Again, I'm liking this.
And speaking of fancy footwork,
There's the right hand I was talking about. Little dip of the knees, boom, over the top. Look where the left hand is here of Arnie Dawson. He's carrying it low. He's leaving, he's showing him the shot. There is the shot. That's the shot I'm looking at. I'm in there right now. I'm bowling that right hand like I'm bowling a cricket ball. Over the top, out of the vision, boom, straight back in.
And to prove your point, a little blood coming from the nose of Arnie Dawson right now. He's feeling those shots, and his positioning now needs to be dictated by his footwork. Maybe find the angles and find the proper distance and make Mason chase you instead of coming inside and having to work.
Mason's found the right hand here. Dawson now has switched off a little bit, but what he's doing now, he's got to recognise he's been hit by a couple of right hands. Look when he throws the jab comes back to his chest. It has to come back to his eye. Look, see what I'm saying? He's got to be careful. There's the right hand again.
And that's where Mason can be so dangerous, because he's lining that up behind a double jab to the body, so he's really getting his feet in and rotating that shot over the top.
But can you see on the left side here what I'm talking about? Like little young Arnie Dawson, that's where he's vulnerable, that's where the openings are. And Mason has clearly watched videos of this. He's studied the tapes because his game plan is perfect. He's coming from low and whipping that right hand. Dawson's left hand is coming back too low after he's delivering it.
I think he might have heard you, because he tucked up just after that one. Took it on the glove. That's exactly what he needs to do.
Do you know what? I like him. I like that kid a lot as well. I like both of these guys. You know, it's sad to see them both in the ring for me, because I have a relationship with both of them. But that's the game. Someone's got to win, and as long as they both go out on their shields, which they are doing, that's all you can ask for. But I'm just being constructive criticism for the Terminator when he moves forward, win, lose or draw. You got to work on that left side, my friend.
I'd like to see the Terminator come off the line. He really is kind of standing in front of Mason and allowing Mason to line him up. Step outside, step around, find your angles. There it is. That's what I'm looking for. That creates offense that allows you to be defensively responsible.
Yep, that was a good shot. That slowed Mason in his
there
tracks.
It is again.
Mason was having a good round up until then. He's taken a couple of shots that seems to have taken a little bit of zip out of his work there. Just missed the chopping right hand there, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, that was a credit to the head movement of Mason, but really the footwork would have got him well out of the way of that before that shot even came close to his chin. Well, which is a bit naturally tucked. He's got a bit of an advantage as a fighter there. He's got a naturally tucked chin.
Yeah, good final spell there, last 15 seconds or so. Priya from Dawson, but Marley Mason, for me, doing the better of the work in that round. He was getting success again with that right hand, and I think that is the key shot for him. He's seen the vulnerabilities, he recognised the weakness of Dawson, and he's exploiting it.
He definitely is. Right now, I think his corner's just nursing a cut under the right eye of Mason, so hopefully that doesn't affect him too much. But you're right, he was setting up the right hand over the top with a nice double jab to the body. He was getting his feet in, getting into range. Smart work.
Mason deciding to stand in the corner between rounds as well. Not letting his legs lock up. That lets you know that he intends to continue to move about, stay inside, stay busy, and he's not looking for a rest between rounds, but to keep the blood flowing.
Old school, baby. That's what they call it. Mason's one of them old school fighters. Like he's cut from that sort of cloth. You know, I respect him, you know, as a fighter, as a man, because of what he's all about.
I think Dawson's advantage over Mason is the variety in his shots. You know, Mason's having success with the double jab and the right hand over the top, but right now that's all he's having success with, whereas Dawson's bringing his punches up and round and from behind the jab. His variety is actually better, I think.
Yep, I agree with that. I think that when you're looking at that, IQ, boxing ability, definitely you have to go with Dawson. I think that, you know, when you're talking about grit, determination, biting down in the gum shield, not losing heart or soul, then you go for Mason. But Dawson, we don't know that because he's not been tested yet, and he's going to get tested tonight.
Excellent observation, Priya, because now in the 5th round, it's when you got to start changing things up so your opponent doesn't know what to expect. It is as if the Terminator is fighting knowing what Mason is going to do, knowing what is coming. Doesn't mean he can always get out of the way of it, but it does mean he can counter it and make his own adjustments.
And it's good that if he has seen that and he adapts, and he has that adaptability, that is a key weapon in a boxing ring. And if you've got the ability to be able to change it up there, you go, there's another box ticked.
boxing's about adjustments, Spence. I think you'll agree. And who makes the first adjustments and the best ones tends to win the fight.
You can see Mason just trying to rough him up and spoil Dawson's work, but Dawson's still getting through with those bolo shots to the body.
Yeah, there's a solid look around Dawson in there, but a solid look around Mason as well. We said this was going to be intense. We said it was going to be a great contest, and the boys are certainly delivering here.
This is main event action. Again, matchups and styles make fights. You'll see the progression of both fighters, and who makes the adjustment, as we've just said, will swing the momentum in the middle rounds here. I like what I'm seeing from Dawson. I think he's getting used to what
massive
Mason's doing.
uppercut there. Right uppercut lead. That pulled the head up, but look at the response from Mason. He says, yes, please. And again, let's go.
There you go. I like what I'm seeing from Dawson now. It's just the adjustment based on what Priya just said. He knows what's coming, and he's now able to deal with it.
It's quite amazing, actually, how these fighters have been listening to us three all evening, making those adjustments, making those adaptations. Or are we just good? I don't know. Who knows?
It's a bit of both. They listen to us because we're good.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's a lovely combination again there from Dawson. Whip that right in and look at this right hand in and look at the response again from Mason. Old school stuff, this. I said we was going to get it. Both guys putting it on the line, and that's exactly what we're getting. Marley Mason walks back to the corner, pumped up, revved up, ready to go. Look across the ring, Arnie Dawson, the Terminator. Look at him. He is ready.
He shot those ice blue eyes at a stare against Mason, letting him know, I figured you out. You're going to have to do something different. And now in the second half of this fight, we'll see if Mason can bring something to start again. Terminator trying to figure him out.
Yeah, Priya, I think that this fight could be won and lost here in these last 5 rounds for sure. It's been one of those nip and tuck fights. Action swinging one way then the other. No one really getting a hold of it. And you look at it and you go, that was a good round there for Dawson. A very good round there for Dawson, but Mason went back to the corner, pumped up.
He really did,
10
and he really tried to rough Dawson up towards the end of that round. Just when you think Dawson's, dominating the round, Mason comes back and vice versa. This is exactly what the crowd came here for.
Yep, they appreciate their boxing down here in the East End of London. Bethnal Green, the York Hall is the venue. We've had a fantastic show here this evening, and this is the show closer. And can one of these guys steal the show? There was a left hook there, just skimmed the whiskers of Arnie Dawson.
The fight is certainly still in the balance and up for grabs. However, I feel like Dawson has the momentum, and it's up to Mason now to break it and shift it back his way.
Yeah, great little contest this.
I think Mason does well in parts to sort of break the rhythm of Dawson, but Dawson seems to be able to recover it back quite quickly.
And it's because you made the point earlier that he's not mixing it up. He's able to recover and come back because he knows everything that's coming from Mason, or at least what's in his arsenal.
Yep, totally agree with that. Great assessment of what's happening here with both of these guys. The action is going one way, then the other. Young Arnie Dawson is going to be made to answer some questions this evening, and the man in front of him, Marley Mason, certainly will ask him those questions.
I think Dawson's just able to neutralize the punches of Mason in this round. He doesn't just move back, but he sort of moves back and round him, and he's just able to neutralize him. He lands a nice clean right hand straight down the pipe. I think that's hurt Mason.
Yeah, that was a good shot, that. Mason, as tough as he is, has felt that, and again the combination's going in. There's a cut now as well. Is there a cut over that right eye? No, a mouse, a grazing for sure, but he's starting to show the war wounds now. Oh, big left hook as well there.
It is bleeding though, Spence. I can see the blood on the glove of Dawson, and it's due to that short shot, that little right hook inside.
That's a huge swelling under that left eye for Mason. That could be really dangerous for him.
Yeah, it is cut. It is cut. Sorry, Priya, to jump in on you there, but I just spotted the blood trickling down the face, and that has given Arnie Dawson a new lease of life, and this is a good little spell in the contest here.
I like that the addition to the repertoire of Dawson is short shots on the inside. That's what was missing earlier in the fight.
Yep, the difference was the adjustments. The way that he's adjusted here, he's adapted. He's made life a lot easier for himself because Mason come out with a perfect game plan. Dawson's worked out that he's getting caught way too. Oh, big right hand again there.
That eye's looking really swollen there.
Yeah, he's really felt the weight of that one. He's shook the head, and that eye is in a bad, bad way. And the corner are going to have to do something big here. As they got an end swell in the corner, they need an iron to push that out. Yep, there it is.
I mean, the saving grace is that it's below the eye and not above. You don't want a mouse like that no matter what, but you certainly don't want it above your eye. I don't think this is the kind of cut that would stop a fight unless it's the fighter himself who maybe doesn't want him to go on.
I tell you what it is. Every fighter has a certain pain threshold, and some fighters break sooner than other fighters. What we were talking about earlier on in the show, when you get a mouse like that on your eye, the pain of that mouse is insane, man. When you get flicked with a jab, boom, jab, boom. Arnie Dawson's that guy, by the way. He's built like that, long arms, long wrists.
Corners, 10
shots hurt, man.
seconds.
That really hurt. So you just go to yourself. Now we find out where Mason
Seconds
is.
out.
Where
Round
does the pace
7.
go? Where does it stop? We get some freaks like Cole Frotch. They just go and they bite on there like cavemen. Mason may be cut from that cloth. We're going to find that out as the doctor's been called in.
Having a look.
Yeah, unless there's an orbital bone break or something like that, I don't see how the doctor stops this clash on that.
Yeah, but there could be with a swelling like that. That's what he's checking for. I think we saw that when George Groves got stopped by Canelo. You see, the swelling comes up so quick. You go, could it be an orbital damage? Could it be, you know, a fractured eye socket? You have to keep your eye on that.
And it's right well placed for Dawson's right hand. I mean, it couldn't be in a worse location in that sense.
He's definitely come out a bit more cautious now, Marley Mason. And who could blame him? But nice to see him letting his shots go just there.
Yeah, he's got that left hand high now, protecting that, and it's going to make it harder for him to create offense.
But you know what, going to see that doctor may have just taken something out of him because the zip seems to have gone out of his punches a little bit here, and the intensity, the pressure, the things that were working for him, coming in low, looping the right hands over. We're not seeing that at the moment, and there seems to be a newfound confidence in the Terminator.
And he can see the damage that he's done as well. You know, he can see it, he can go for it, he can keep targeting it. But nice rear hand there from Mason.
Yep, that's the shot we're talking about. That's where he gets his success. The Terminator sitting in the pocket just a little bit too long, left hand too low. Win, lose or draw, that's something to work on, Arnie Dawson, when you get back to the gym. But works well on the inside, Dawson, doesn't he, for a tall fighter. The short shots are brilliant, and there was a right hand again, right on that wound.
The reason that Dawson's taking that big overhand right is because he wants to stay in the pocket and deliver his own right hand.
Yep.
He's not so bothered by it as he was before because he sees it coming and he's rolling with it a little bit.
Yep, I get that, totally get that. A credit to these guys, hats off to them. This is what it's all about, real boxing. We see it in these places week in, week out. You'll call Bethnal Green is famous for it, and these boys are doing what they're supposed to do and delivering for the fans. What a contest we've got on our hands here.
Dawson absolutely zeroed in on that eye. Every punch he throws is headed straight to that location. He believes that this is the cut that can stop the fight for him, if not an injury that'll make the fighter take a knee.
Credit to Mason though, he's still in the contest, he's still throwing punches, and he's still coming forward.
Yep, he is. That shows a lot of character about the guy, doesn't it? You know, we know he's tough. We've seen him, like I say, that fight he had against Mandeep Jenga, who's a good fighter. He went in there and he delivered, man. He gave it his all, and he's doing it again with Arnie Dawson. This is a cracking little contest from two brilliant fighters.
A couple of good savvy body shots to bring Mason's hands down. You realize that he's protecting that cut, he's protecting his head, and you've got to get those gloves down if you're going to land that big right hand.
Well, there was that right hand there, Dawson. Just switched off momentarily, threw the right hand, chin up in the air, and Mason made him pay for it. That may give him a little bit of confidence, and he may have needed that confidence at that time of the contest, because things looked like they were just coming away from him.
He absolutely needed something to believe, something to drive him on and spur him on, some kind of success to take it to this next round, and he found it.
Well, 3 rounds to go. I think that we're all in agreement that Arnie Dawson is in front in this one, but Marley Mason shows that he has the capability to turn it around if he can just find something from somewhere. Can he find it?
Well, in that last round, he was still landing with that rear hand. He was still coming to the body with the jab, not as much as what he was doing.
Corners, 10
He's not
seconds.
giving up, and he's still in there.
I don't think he can find it if he's got to protect that eye.
Seconds up,
He would have
round
to find
8.
something that is offensive, that offers up that eye as a potential target and sell out for these last 3 rounds.
I tell you what, they've done a great job in that eye, in the corner, by the way, because that swelling was coming up thick and fast, and trust me, they do come up, and he's taken a couple of big right hands on it as well, and the corner have done a really good job of taking that swelling down.
Well, I hate to say that he heard me, but he did shoot that jab in from underneath, which leaves that eye open, but did land and has now gotten Mason on the front foot and backing Dawson up. That's the kind of change he needed to make.
Yep, absolutely. It's all about adapting and making the game plan work for you and for Mason. That's the shot there. But you miss and you get made to pay. That's good work there from Dawson, right hand through the middle. Mason looking to hold. He's in a bit of trouble here. Dawson comes back with a right hand of his own, showing real good grit here. What a fight we've got on our hands.
Very impressed with Mason and the adjustment he's made here in the 8th round.
You've got to admire him, you know. You've just got to admire Mason, don't you? You know, he's just still looking to land the shots. He's still well in there, and he's not making this easy for Dawson.
And on the inside, he's got to be very careful about those elbows. When they're in the clinch, that elbow is rubbing against the eye, and that's kind of smart.
Yep, remember Dawson is in newfound territory now as well, not been past 6, and here he is, and he looks to be coping with that very well. His stamina looks great, and this is a tough fight against a tough fighter.
He does, and he still looks composed. He's still putting his punches together really well. He's moving backwards, throwing bent arm shots, which is actually a decent skill. It's an advanced skill to be able to pull off in the ring. But you know, he's holding his own.
Yeah. Dawson there with a cheeky little left uppercut lead there, just skimmed the whiskers of Mason, who was coming in low. So again, the right idea from Dawson, but it was a cheeky little shot.
And he's come out of protection mode, Mason, and rightly so. It's created an offense for him, and it also has stilted what Terminator was looking to do, is just target the right eye, target the right eye, target the right eye. Now Terminator's got to mix it up if he's going to stay successful offensively.
Dawson with a little bit of clown in there, looked up to the skies to say, where are you bowling that one from, mate? Mason tried to make him pay, but was just a little bit slow off the mark. Intense stuff here in the York Hall. Coming to the end of this 8th round. It's been all action in this 10-round lightweight contest.
Good showing from both fighters. I don't know what we're going to get going into the last 2 rounds, but
That last uppercut from Dawson was fantastic.
Yeah, very good shot. Mason might have done enough to get himself back in that round. I think he was losing a few of the rounds, and I think that he may have done enough maybe to nick one of the rounds there. It was a close round, tougher round. I mean, I don't know where you are for that prayer.
I think he did actually up his work rate in that round. I think he just realised that, you know what, I'm cut, but I'm still fighting, so I might as well fight. And he was letting his shots go. It was impressive.
Yep, they call that balls, and he's got plenty of them, that is for sure. This guy, you know, is cut from a cloth where you go, if you want it, forget the boxing IQ. When you get into these late rounds, this is what it's all about now. The grit, the determination, the mental strength. But this kid, he was born with that.
He's cut from a cloth and cut on the eye. and is looking to be
Seconds
a cut
out,
above the rest.
round 9.
6 minutes left, and I believe that this fight still hangs in the balance of which man will overtake the other with will and adjustments. Technique now becomes the name of the game.
Yep, it's going to be interesting, this one. Mason has been here before. Dawson has never been here before. Could that be the difference? Could that be the telling point? Dawson still looks very strong, very composed at the moment, but we just don't know.
He does look composed. Mason's work rate doesn't seem to be slowing down. He's still got energy. He's still moving, and you know he's bouncing up and down on his toes. He's coming forward.
Ooh.
Bit of a low blow there, I think.
Yeah, that was a very low blow.
That's right where you want to land a low blow if you land one. That's right in the basket.
That is exactly where that was. Just having a little conversation there with Marley Mason. Kid's full of personality, that is for sure. We've had him.
You know, the irony of a break like this, Spence, while it may seem to benefit Mason, you don't want that eye to have time to swell between the rounds. You don't want him to just sit on it and get bigger and more difficult to deal with between rounds.
Do you know what, Radio? I don't think he cares at this point. I just think that like he's all in now. He's in the zone, man. You see him speaking to the crowd when he's in the corner, asking some advice. And what do you think? Who's winning this? Think I'm winning it? Sticks his tongue out and away he goes again. Old school mentality.
You're absolutely right, Spence. I'm thinking about it, but he's not.
Exactly that. Exactly that. But this has been a great contest, Priya, and one to remember for sure. It's been a great night of boxing, and we were not disappointed. We thought this was going to be one of the fights of the night, and they have delivered.
They certainly have, and it's been a fantastic night of boxing, as you say. Every single fight was so well matched. You know, they were all entertaining, and this one is no different than that.
Still some bounce there on Marley's feet. He's looking to mix it up. He's not looking to just sail into the last 2 rounds and hope that he can get some advantage on the card. He wants to make a statement, as he does need to make, and maybe steal these last 2 rounds and make it very difficult for the judge.
Absolutely. Listen, he's got an incredible engine, and he's going for it, mate. There you go. He's making Dawson work for this one. Dawson, like I say, we know he's got incredible talent, and he's got a big shot, but what we didn't know was how he deals under the pressure in the penultimate rounds, and not 8, 9, 10s, and he's dealing with it all right. The arms have dropped a little bit. Is he trying to draw Mason in, or are the arms, the fatigue, is that setting in?
I think we are seeing a bit of fatigue. This is a high-paced fight. He's a tall fighter. Those are long arms. Those gloves get heavy at the end of those long arms as the fight wears on, especially with the punch output that's been necessary from Dawson from round 1.
This is a close contest, this one. I think Mason has pulled himself back into it just a little bit. I think he's done well in these last couple of rounds, and that makes it very interesting going into this last round.
It does. I think it's all to fight for in that final round, and I think that final round, the pressure of that is going to bring out the best in both of these lads.
If the draw earlier in the night has taught us anything, is that you can't take anything for granted. Neither one of these fighters can be sure that they're ahead going into the final round, and they're going to have to give their all to win it tonight and be the main event victor.
This is where I'm at right now. I've got this 5 rounds to 4 in favour of Arnie Dawson going into this last round, and like you guys say, one swing round, one close round, this could be all to fight for. It could be 5-4 the other way, so like this is all in the balance. Dare I say it, we've got a 1-round fight on our hands.
We've got a 1-round fight on our hands, Spence, 100%.
Wow, 1-round fight on our hands. It's 10 past 11. My train leaves Liverpool Street at 11:58. Will I make it? Who knows? I'm enjoying the boxing here at the York Hall.
Everybody at Liverpool Street is watching this on TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel. Nobody's taking that train until you get there.
Final
We're all
round.
enthralled here at York Hall on TM14 and Nelson Boxing.
Yep, and I don't want to get there anytime soon, but I'm loving this one. And here we go, Marley Mason. Can he do it? Can he turn it around? Dawson, can he dig deep? Can he bite down on his gum shield and grind it out? Because the physicals have gone now. It's not about the boxing, it's about how much you want it.
That's exactly right.
It's a lovely little clipping left hook there from Dawson as he just moves out at the angle. Nice few combinations there, but Mason's coming back strong.
Neither one of these men have time to be tied up. They both need to be throwing the leather, making sure that the judge knows that they're in control and they've won this final round.
That was a good hook there from Mason, but you're right, it's like, you know, this is all in the balance here. Tough fight to score.
Oh, big overhand right. Your favorite shot spins just landed right there at the 2-minute mark of the 10th round.
When you're born with that lack of height, you learn them things. It's part of the trade. I was doing it as a 7-year-old. I had my first amateur fight on my 11th birthday. And guess what? Against a tall kid. And the little man was looping the shots over. And there's again the right hand's landed. And I tell you what, Dawson's starting to feel the pace a little bit here. He's not been here before, but Mason has. And Mason's teeing off. Dawson comes back well. He's sucking it up. He's showing a lot of character himself. What a last round we've got here.
Both men leaking blood now from their heads. You see blood on the shorts of both men and the gloves. This is a battle that will be fought down to the last second. We've got just over a minute to go, and it's still any man's fight.
It's any man's fight, and Dawson seems to be getting his combinations off, but Mason seems to be landing the heaviest shots. What do the judges want to see?
Yep, I agree with that. The right hand over the top has been the success story for Mason, Marley Mason, from the opening belt, and he's landing it with frequency here in this 10th. Is it the volume of punches coming from Dawson or the big shots, the eye-catching shots from Mason?
Tie these guys' legs together and put them in the middle of the ring for the last minute. It's nothing but leather being thrown here. And in, I believe, the last 10 seconds, we might just see a hellacious exchange.
Body shot goes in from Mason as well.
That hurt Dawson.
It did. He felt that one. It was a big shot, and Mason sensed it. Dawson under extreme pressure with 20 seconds to go. Big right hand over the top there.
10-second bell coming, going to spur both of these fighters on to close the show.
Well, I think that Mason has closed this show very well. Dawson, the fatigue has definitely stepped in. Now it's Mason crowning the round, and he's going for it. What a fight, what a finish. What a finish, and where am I at? I've got the draw on my scorecard. I think that Mason done enough in that final round. I don't know what way this is going to go, but for me, I couldn't split them. Priya, I don't know where you're at.
Honestly, I'm with you on that one, Spence, to be honest. It was really hard to tell them, it was really hard to split them. You know, Dawson, he looked like the cleaner, more composed fighter, but when you see the grit and the volume and the power and the punches of Mason, it's really hard to separate the two.
Right then in that 10-second clapper, on the last second you saw Arnie Dawson land the big right hand right on that eye to punctuate the round. Doesn't necessarily mean he won it, but it is something that is memorable. I might have had Dawson edging that round. I really don't know who to give it to, and I can't wait to hear what the judges think. But boy, that was a heck of a main event. It was worthy of a card like this, a night at your call. I got to tell you, TM14 and Nielsen Boxing, it delivers again on TalkSport YouTube Boxing channel, TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel. Seconds out, boxing news, all carrying the action tonight, and what a brilliant night of boxing it was.
Yep, fantastic night of boxing, and what a way, Priya, to finish the night. Fight of the night, Arnie Dawson, Marley Mason. You hate to see a loser when they go like that. I couldn't split these guys. I've gone straight down the middle, and this is not being biased one way or the other because I love both kids, and there has to be a winner, but I can't split them. I've gone for the draw here. Whoever's going to get this one, it's going to be...
Neither of them deserve to lose this. This is one of those situations. Neither of them
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of boxing, we go to the referee scorecard. Referee Mark Bates scores the bout 96-94. And your winner, still undefeated, Arnie the Terminator Dawson.
Banking those early rounds made a difference. I'm not mad about that decision. I think Arnie did enough to eke it out tonight, but boy, Mason, honorable performance.
Yeah, credit to both guys. Marley Mason done what he always does, give it his best. Top performance. He's unlucky not to come away with something from it, but you can see Arnie Dawson winning the fight, so credit where credit's due. Well done, young kid stays undefeated, 8-0 now. 4 of those inside the distance, and Priya, that was a good performance.
It was brilliant. You know, he kept his composure. He kept his volume and his combination of punches. It was just fantastic. It was entertaining. Credit to Marley Mason for the way he handled that cut. Can't fault it.
Listen, you're not going to celebrate a loss, but I like to see Marley Mason with his chin held high, his hand held up, and know that he gave everything that he had tonight and deciding to give up that eye for the opportunity to win the fight and to press on through the pain, still deliver shots, still stay inside, stay in the pocket in exchange. That is a heck of a fighter you there. That's a man with a big heart and a future. I can't wait to see him in the ring again. It's the kind of action that a main event absolutely requires, and they both delivered tonight.
Yeah, great stuff. And what a great night of boxing. I've had the pleasure to be in the driving seat with my man Radi Rahim and Priya, who's been alongside me for the last couple of nights. I hope you guys have enjoyed it at home on the TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel, Boxing News channel, Seconds Out, and all the rest of it. Let's hear from Arnie Dawson now.
Nothing.
We're good? Okay, great.
In case I get a call for next week.
No,
Denzel's undercard, you never know.
what you were saying is your hands are on smoke.
Yeah, they're on smoke, that's one.
Congratulations on your win. That was quite the fight. What did you make of Marley Mason? Obviously, he came in there. He's a gritty competitor. You moved to 8-0 tonight. What did you make of him throughout the rounds?
Yeah, I thought he was good. He was coming with you could see where we've sparred before, but obviously he's known about this fight for a long time. It's not when you get a journeyman in. So you can see that he'd had a game plan and was working on, but I think I was able to nullify it. And I think I said in the build-up, in every interview I've done, I've got loads of respect for him, so I don't say anything here with disrespect. But I don't see how anyone scored that 6-4. But yeah, man, as long as it was an Arnie Dawson win, I couldn't really care what the scorecard say. Yeah, I thought I handled what he brought to the table very well.
What was your game plan going into the fight, knowing Marley Mason's style, having sparred with him in the past?
Well, I know that obviously I'm tall for a lightweight. Look at me standing next to Denzel, and he's a middleweight, so I'm not short. So I knew that he was short. I know he's aggressive, so I knew he was going to come forward, and I knew I just had to stick to my boxing, use my long arms, my long range, and get the job done behind my boxing.
And as the rounds went on and he was kind of making it a scrappier contest, what were some of the adjustments that you were making?
Well, I don't want to talk too much about it, but I had to slightly adjust what I was doing because of, just because I was landing some good shots and he was coming with his stuff. So I had to change what I was doing in there and just keep it a little bit smart and close it out with smart boxing at the end, opposed to engaging. Where if I had a bit more in me, I would have been able to stand and have a go in the later rounds, but I just had to stick to my boxing and tip, and all the way through to the finish, you know what I mean?
Yeah, firstly, I want to congratulate you on that win. When I told you Lucas is one of my favourite prospects, this is actually my favourite prospect in boxing, I promise you. I said it to him loads of times. I remember when he came to the gym, wanted to turn pro, and I was like, you probably need another year or so, but he's proved me wrong, and I'm happy he has. But congratulations on that win. And we was in the gym, and you kept telling me, even tonight before you came out, you told me, watch his performance. What made you so confident in how you performed tonight?
Well, I know the level that I'm at, and like I say, I hope, obviously when Marley watches this back, not that I'm not shook or anything, you know what I mean, but I don't want him to think that I'm being disrespectful or anything like that.
100%.
There's levels, man. I knew I was gonna go in there and box. I'm not saying I'm a world beater. I'm not saying I'm gonna win this title, title tomorrow. But I'll let a British middleweight champion wear my T-shirt and know that I'm going somewhere. So, yeah.
I love that confidence. You know, it must mean so much to you to have the likes of Denzel Bentley, singing your praises. Every chance that John and Mark get, they sing your praises as well. How important is it for you to have that support around you?
Yeah, it's good. Obviously, you want the promoters on your side. And I'm not going to sit here and fanboy him because I think me and Denzel, I would say that me and Denzel are mates, innit? So I'm not going to sit and fanboy him and lick his ass. But I look up to him. He's probably, outside of the boxers that you don't, you can't get in contact with and speak to and be around, like the ones in America and all the, I don't know, like the Canelos and the Shakur Stevensons and the Crawfords. Denzel's the man that I look up to close, like, do you know what I mean? That I see without licking his ass. He's the one that I see like up close that I look up to. So having someone singing my praises that I look at and want to emulate in the future obviously means the world, yeah.
Well, that's lovely. You've moved to 8-0 tonight. What's next for Arnie, the Terminator Dawson?
Go home, have some food because I like eating when I'm not training, and just have a rest. Yeah. Any opportunity that comes my way, I take with all hands. I went out to America within the first year of my pro career and stopped the fella in the 3rd round. I sparked out a fucking American over here. I went up to Sunderland in the away corner. Like I'm not shook of. Get me on Denzel's undercard. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to turn down no opportunities. I'm ready to make a name for myself. Do you know what I mean? And the more I make a name of myself, the more people get on the bandwagon, the more people that will be singing my praises. And bigger cameras, bigger lights, and that's no disrespect, but bigger cameras, bigger lights, and more eyes on me will only equal more people seeing what I can do. Do you know what I mean?
And that mentality is why he's my favourite prospect, I promise you.
Well, listen, the future is so bright for you. We can't wait to see what you do next. Congratulations on your win tonight.
Cheers, thank you very much. I'd just like to say a big thank you to everyone that come and bought a ticket to support me. Obviously, everyone knows that in these small hall shows, selling tickets is everything. If you don't sell tickets, you don't get on the shows. I also want to shout out all my sponsors. They're on the back of my T-shirt. If this is still rolling or I've just rambled on for too long, all my sponsors are on the back of my T-shirt. So I just want to shout out all of them. I've got a few of them in the building tonight. Yeah, everyone that bought a ticket, my whole team, Gareth, Martin, everyone in the Peacock, just everyone. Yeah, on to the next one. Yeah, let's rock and roll.
Congratulations.
Cheers, thank you very much. Cheers.
Hold on, my boy.
Guys, what a show that was. So exciting from top to toe. What were some of your highlights? Mark, we'll start with you.
Oh, you know, that last fight there was a highlight, wasn't it? You know, we always knew that was going to be a cracking fight, didn't we, John? With Arnie's got a bit of a dig on him. He's got a bit of like he's got some venom in him. You can see he was just like ruthless. But we know Marley loves to fight. He's a proper old school fighter, just comes forward, just wants to tear up and stuff. I just love that. That's proper boxing. That's proper boxing. What a way to finish the night off as well. Loved it.
And John, what about you?
Yeah, similar. I think there were a load of good fights on there. We worked hard to pull the card off, and I think all the fights were good. That last one probably was that little bit better. I think the result was fair. Couple of points in it. I think Arnie was just a bit crisper and maybe boxed that little bit better. Yeah. But like you said with Marley, you know what you get with him. He says on the tin is what you get. Yeah. He just stands there and has a fight all night, so he's a crowd pleaser. But we're really happy with the whole card, really. I thought all of them were good, to be fair.
I mean, that Lucas Rohrig fight as well, amazing for him to stop the guy, Vlad, Big Bad Vlad, in 4 rounds when others have done it in 8. I think that was a massive statement. It's so exciting to have him on these shows as well. Yeah,
and he's just, you know, you can see the quality of Lucas, of course, but that opponent, we've sat at ringside thinking that he's a tough guy. You know, he's got a hard head on him. Lucas is going to struggle to stop this guy. But he was like working to the body a little bit, and I think he could feel that. But you can see the quality of Lucas. I think they're looking at having him out another couple of times this year. They just want to keep him busy. But, you know, there's some big fights ahead for him next year for sure. He's a talent. He's a real talent. It's a pleasure to have him on the show. You know, George Groves obviously training him and stuff. So, yeah, great.
Yeah. I mean, the show tonight was sensational. I think that was very evident by the fact that it was a sold-out venue as well. So much buzz in the building throughout the different fights. You know, without looking too far ahead, obviously we've got a couple of shows coming up towards the end of the year. Why don't you talk us through them?
Yeah, so we got October, can't remember if it's 25th or 26th, but it's the Saturday. There's a lot of new fighters on there that we haven't had before. Very, very good. Lots of prospects, and we expect that to be very busy as well. So we're looking forward to that. And then we've got November the 15th as well.
Yeah, I think on October we've got Maisie Rose Courtney on.
She is, yeah.
Matchroom fighter. You know, so we've got some talent on that card, haven't we? So.
Yeah, it's a good card.
Yeah.
You guys have gone from strength to strength this year, and you're going to close off the year with a bang, I'm sure, and we can't wait to see it. Guys at home, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We can't wait to have you back with us at ringside on October 25th.